Oprah is coming to Channel 8, beginning Monday, September 6th.
Camp Pendleton Marines under investigation for a gay pornography ring. A New York kidnap victim, his tale of long burial and dramatic rescue. And on America Close-Up, serving food and dignity to the homeless.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. Military authorities and local California police are investigating a case that is bound to reignite discussion about the place of gays in the military. Marines at Camp Pendleton near San Diego are suspected of participating in a gay pornography ring. Details of this now from NBC's George Lewis.
The Marines, with their proud traditions, honor, discipline, semper fidelis, always faithful, are faced with an embarrassing situation at Camp Pendleton. Local police say a significant number of men, possibly Marines from the base, were involved with a gay pornography ring.
It appears that these people may be military. Now, it's altogether possible they might not, but there is an appearance of it.
A gay man in San Diego who claims to be familiar with the pornography trade says local Marines have been taking part in this sort of activity for years.
They don't have anything to do. This is at times very exciting to them, very interesting, very Hollywood.
Police were concerned there were juveniles involved. That now does not appear to be the case.
Because there's no child pornography, an adult can sexually do what they want with another consenting adult, and that's not illegal. And these other gentlemen were adults, so that's their sexual preference.
But appearing in pornographic videos and still pictures is a clear violation of military regulations. So military authorities are trying to figure out how many Marines may have been dealing with pornographers in their time off duty. Gay rights activists say the incident harms the cause of gays in the military.
I don't think it's any coincidence that a charge like this comes up right now. They're trying to undercut the efforts that have been made to lift the ban on gays and lesbians in the military. And they're exaggerating a problem and trying to suggest that it's widespread.
The Marines say the allegations about gay pornography are highly speculative, that an official investigation is underway, that until the investigation is complete, there will be no official comment. George Lewis, NBC News, Camp Pendleton, California.
Another military controversy tonight, Star Wars, which of course was the pride and joy of the Reagan administration. Now there are claims that at least one major test of the futuristic and very expensive anti-missile system was rigged to fool the Soviets, and it fooled Congress as well. NBC's John Dancy says members of Congress are not amused.
June 10th, 1984, an ICBM is fired from the U.S. West Coast carrying a dummy warhead. 30 minutes later, near the Marshall Islands in the Pacific, an interceptor missile destroys the oncoming warhead. The military proudly proclaims the first successful test of Star Wars technology. But today, the New York Times claims the test was rigged. Quoting 4 unidentified Reagan administration officials and military men, the Times says the deception was approved by then Defense Secretary Caspar Weinberger to push the Soviets to spend billions to catch up. Weinberger this afternoon denied the story. The officials said the target missile carried a beacon that allowed the interceptor to easily find and destroy it. But the general in charge of the test told NBC News the beacon didn't matter.
The enhancement to the target was for the benefit of the ground-based radar and had nothing to do with the kind of sensors that was used on the missile.
The success of the test forced the Soviets to spend billions more on their own missiles. Soviet academician Sergei Oznobyshev told NBC News Moscow the Soviets were skeptical but could not take a chance.
We put more accent on offensive nuclear missiles at that time, in case, of course, the SDI would be deployed.
But the U.S. Congress also bought the success story, appropriating billions more to keep the Star Wars program going.
When and if we can find the Pentagon has been deceiving the Congress, I don't think any punishment is too severe.
Late today, Defense Secretary Les Aspin agreed to Pryor's demand for an investigation. The Star Wars program has now been canceled, but not before it cost $30 billion during the Reagan and Bush administrations. John Dancy, NBC News, Washington.
And President Clinton is about to make amends for an earlier slight to a politically powerful family. NBC News has learned that he'll name William Daley, the brother of Chicago Mayor Richie Daley, as czar of the NAFTA campaign. That's the drive to get Congress to ratify the controversial trade agreement with Mexico and Canada. Earlier, Bill Daley was not happy when he was passed over as Transportation Secretary. When Nightly News continues in a moment, the man who spent 12 days buried alive tells his remarkable story. And a victory for 14-year-old Kimberly Mays. A judge tells her parents to stay away.
Frank said he'd really like to take a relaxing vacation this year. I've got just the place. If they could see you now out on a fun ship cruise, you're eating fancy food and doing what you choose. I like your friends back home to get a good look. I ask you, does Frank look relaxed or what? Take a 3, 4, or 7-day vacation on Carnival, the most popular cruise line in the world. Honey, I just booked another week.
Great.
My lord, the killer was eating cookies.
That's right.
But my client doesn't eat cookies. She eats Fig Newtons.
Case dismissed.
A cookie is just a cookie, but Newtons are fruit and cake.
Day after day, you make those glasses of thick Metamucil disappear. Why not make them all disappear with FiberCon? Doctor-recommended FiberCon gives you the same fiber regularity in tablets.
Easy to swallow tablets.
Get doctor-recommended FiberCon.
Harvey Weinstein told his story today, a harrowing, amazing tale of captivity. 12 days buried alive in a dirt dungeon within earshot of a busy New York City highway. NBC's Odetta Rogers-Clark now on the millionaire businessman who calls himself the luckiest man alive.
Harvey Weinstein told his story of survival. He remembered the horror of being buried alive and fearing for his life.
To have to live through this, to understand the depth of despair when I really gave up, almost.
He thanked the police who rescued him and remembered the moment he was pulled out of the underground hole.
Grabbing his hand through this little aperture that he had pulled from my prison, I knew I was home. I knew I was safe. And I knew God had smiled down on me.
Weinstein, who owns this tuxedo company in New York, was kidnapped August 4th after he left a nearby diner where he had breakfast. He was taken to a wooded area off this New York City highway and held captive 14 feet underground in a cramped, muddy hole.
I begged and pleaded with my captors to take me out, to shoot me, and leave me on the road where my family would find my body.
Weinstein's kidnappers kept him hidden while they negotiated a $3 million ransom from his family. Every couple of days, he was given food and water, dropped through a shaft into the hole.
My body wasn't giving out. It was a little weaker, but it wasn't giving out. It was my mind I was worried about.
Weinstein says it was pitch black in the hole. He said it was his training as a Marine 50 years ago that helped to pull him through. When the kidnappers picked up the ransom, police closed in, arresting 2 suspects. One, an employee of Weinstein's who told police where he was. Weinstein says he wants to put the whole thing behind him. He says he wants to spend time with his family and says he won't let the ordeal change the way he lives his life.
I can't permit fear to govern my life. I will walk proudly in the streets of New York.
And there was no greater pride than that shown when Weinstein returned to work today. Odetta Rogers-Clark, NBC News, New York.
Authorities investigating the murder of Michael Jordan's father, James, found a gun yesterday in the home of one of the suspects. They believe that lab tests will show that it was the murder weapon. Also found a videotape said to show suspect Daniel Green performing a rap song and flashing an NBA championship ring, which the elder Jordan had been wearing. For 14-year-old Kimberly Mays, home is where the heart is. She has been at the center of the nation's most unusual child custody case, and today she got her wish with a ruling from a Sarasota, Florida judge against her biological parents. More on this now from NBC's Jim Cummins.
Daddy, don't take them.
It's been hailed as a victory for children's rights. Kimberly Mays told a Florida court she wanted nothing to do with her biological parents, Ernest and Regina Twigg. And Judge Stephen Dakin ruled in Kimberly's favor, ordering the Twiggs to stay out of her life.
She was just elated.
Kimberly's lawyer, Art Ginsberg, gave her the news while she was on vacation at an undisclosed location.
It's going to give her an opportunity to get back and have a life that she deserves, okay? And that's all she wants.
Her life with Robert Mays, the only father she has ever known. Kimberly was switched at birth with another girl, but the Twiggs didn't discover that until the other girl died of a heart defect. They were seeking visitation rights with their biological daughter, Kimberly.
I am a mother, and I love my daughter.
But 14-year-old Kimberly, who had visited the Twiggs and some of their 7 other children when she was younger, was brutally frank about her feelings toward them now.
I want them out of my life and my life back.
In his order, Judge Dakin wrote this about Kimberly. The evidence is clear that Robert Mays is her psychological parent, and that visitation with the Twiggs is likely to produce mental, physical, or emotional harm of a lasting nature to her. And what did the judge decide about Kimberly's wish to divorce her biological parents?
He decided he wouldn't rule that Kim was the biological child of the Twiggs. And you don't have to divorce somebody that's not your parents.
The Twiggs are also on vacation. Paul Fry says he's a friend of the family.
We lost our baby, We lost her family. Now the judge says there's no rights. I mean, she gave birth to that baby. That was her baby.
Kimberly's lawyer disagrees.
Now, just because somebody's a young person doesn't mean they don't know what's best for them, or at least ought to be listened to about it.
Robert Mays plans to adopt Kimberly, and the Twiggs are expected to appeal the ruling. But legal experts believe by the time all the appeals have been exhausted, Kimberly will be an adult. Jim Cummins, NBC News, Dallas.
Business news now. Some major job cuts from Eastman Kodak today. The company said it will eliminate 10,000 jobs worldwide over the next 2 years. That's part of a restructuring plan to reduce the company's debt. Stocks were up across the board on Wall Street today. Another record high for the Dow in very heavy trading. And when Nightly News continues, 2 big airlines in a turf war. Consumers are the winners here.
My baloney has a first name, it's O-S-C-A-R. My baloney has a second name, it's M-A-Y-E-R. Hey, I love to eat it every day, and if you ask me why, I'll say...
You could give your kids a bologna made from less than 100% pure beef or one with fillers. The question is, why would you?
'Cause Oscar Mayer has a way with B-O-L-O-G-A.
When you think about plastic, you may think about things like strong, lightweight garbage cans. Think again about life-saving automotive airbags made of plastic. When you look at these plastic containers, you may wonder if they're being recycled. Take another look. Millions of them are being recycled every day, which we can use to make things like strong, lightweight garbage cans. To learn more, call this number for a free booklet and take another look at plastic.
We decided we wanted to feel more fit. That's when we started eating Wheaties.
It's a low-fat energy source, which is great.
Because there's only one kind of hill we plan on being over. We want to feel more fit. We're getting into Wheaties.
Why brew a pot when you only want a cup? Try Folgers Coffee Singles, made with ground roast coffee and its own filter for one freshly brewed cup. Folgers Coffee Singles, the ultimate one-cup coffee machine.
Events to see, NBC Tonight. Unlock the mystery of a father's disappearance.
This person really does exist.
An all-new unsolved mystery. Followed by the premiere of Now. Tom Brokaw and Katie Couric talk with baby Jessica's adopted parents. Then,
I can't go to the police.
The very first episode of The Fugitive after Unsolved Mysteries and Now. NBC Tonight.
Baltimore-Washington International Airport, BWI as it's known, has been invaded. The aggressor is a quirky cut-rate airline swooping down on the competition yesterday. Well, today, consumers were raving about what may turn out to be the ticket deal of the decade. NBC's Bob Hager has more tonight.
A fare war to end all fare wars. Upstart Southwest Airlines just moving into Baltimore-Washington International Airport, where U.S. Air has been dominant. Result, one way between Baltimore, Washington, and Chicago, normally $299. In mid-September becomes just $44.50 on U.S. Air with some restrictions and $39 on Southwest. Or to Cleveland, normally $299 becomes $24.50 on U.S. Air with restrictions and get this, $19 on Southwest. $19? A train costs $84. A bus costs $68. Passengers are cheering, like Cliff Henderson.
It means good things for all of us, I think.
Officials cheering, too.
Prices are great. I mean, you can't beat $19 to Cleveland. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Southwest is an oddity among airlines. For years, it's concentrated on just a few routes. It's dominated with cut-rate prices. It has no frills, no meals. What it does have is profits.
A video Southwest once made for employees shows the image it likes to project.
Today, Amarillo, and tomorrow, L.A. Wheels up, flaps up, we're on our way.
It's offbeat chairman Herb Kelleher.
My name is Herb, Big Daddy-O. You should all know me. I run this show.
Gradually, Southwest's been expanding. This is the airline's first attempt at a toehold in the East. Not an economic threat to U.S. Air yet, but the airline has chosen to take Southwest on, one airport at a time. Robert Hager, NBC News, Baltimore-Washington Airport.
There is a long-range warning tonight for farmers in the flooded Midwest. Experts say that the ground is so saturated that planting next spring could be a problem. That's because the winter freeze traps the water, resulting in a muddy spring thaw, even if it doesn't rain at that time. But it is still raining in parts of the flood zone now, so the crisis is not over. NBC's Dawn Fratangelo.
It's back. The rain. 3 inches fell this morning in Minneapolis, flooding streets and highways during the morning rush hour. The culprit, a slow-moving storm system which is soaking parts of the Midwest. Again. Flash flooding throughout the region is creating mini tidal waves, closing roads and forcing residents out. 150 homes were evacuated in Tama, Iowa, where earlier today the Iowa River crested. Along the Cedar River, it has become the summer of the sandbag.
They're just keeping ahead of the floodwaters now, so they need to have some kind of a solution for their problem.
Wet and weary residents don't expect to find one. They've been through this before, 5 times in as many months.
I'm so sick of moving everything out of the basement that it's not even funny.
And it's not over. Tonight, the entire state of Iowa is under a flash flood watch. Dawn Fratangelo, NBC News, reporting.
In other news tonight, the State Department now has put the African nation of Sudan on its list of countries supporting terrorism. That effectively cuts off the impoverished country from all assistance except humanitarian aid. The U.S. says that Sudan is a haven for Islamic terrorists. Sudan's military leadership is denying the charges. The leaders of 3 sides in Bosnia's civil war were back at the peace table in Geneva today, firming up an agreement to put Sarajevo under the control of the United Nations for as much as 2 years. That's part of an overall peace agreement. And when we come back in a moment, a cafe for the homeless in this country, more than food and shelter.
I had worked so hard and waited so long for this day. My own class, my name on the blackboard. But what I didn't count on was a terrible headache. That's when I reached for my Tylenol.
Now more than ever, more people turn to Tylenol for powerful pain relief.
The Tylenol worked. The day was like a dream.
Extra strength Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
0700. The milk is on your Kellogg's Crispix when... Eddie's.
Private. Colonel, sir. Something on that table interest you? Just poured the milk on my Crispix, sir.
It's times like these you're thankful Kellogg's Crispix special shape helps it stay crispy and delicious and melt.
Hey, still crispy. Excuse me, Private. Still crispy, sir.
Kellogg's Crispix, the taste that waits for you.
To get rid of stains on your carpet, even old stains, you can get creative. Or you can get scientific with Carpet Science. Carpet Science has a unique emulsion cleaning formula that gets out old stains, like red wine, grape juice, mud, coffee, even spaghetti sauce. Getting rid of old stains? Hey, it's not rocket science. It's Carpet Science from S.C. Johnson Wax.
Hey, if you thought $1 didn't go far these days, check out the huge Ace Dollar Day sale.
Glue and gloves, bags,
and balls,
cords and coffee filters, and more for just $1 each.
It goes to show you, Ace is America's place for better value. Hey, there's still more room back there.
Put traction into action because Goodyear traction is on sale now. Save on selected Goodyear Eagle Performance tires, selected Goodyear Wranglers for light trucks and vans, and save on every all-season Goodyear Aquatread. Save now at Goodyear.
Tomorrow morning on Today, we'll talk with Sophia Loren.
Plus Jim Fowler with some Gators, and Superman returns to the comics. So join us tomorrow morning.
And see what a difference today makes.
On America Close Up tonight, the homeless among us, camping in America's streets and parks, an all too visible problem of poverty and need. Well, one model solution, an Atlanta restaurant for the homeless, which is serving food and self-respect. NBC's Bob Dawson tonight at Cafe 458.
Back in the Great Depression of the 1930s, the poor and the homeless were fed in shuffling soup lines. Most still are. But Atlanta has begun to replace that bleak picture with something new.
Do you have your reservation card?
A homeless cafe. Excuse me. The first in the nation that accepts reservations.
Good.
They made me feel like a person again.
With a serving of self-respect. No lines. No waiting. Table service with fresh cut flowers.
Chicken wings.
And a choice.
Sauce salad.
What do you want for dessert?
Peaches.
Sticky rice here.
5 years ago, this was a boarded-up liquor store until A.B. Short and some friends fixed it up.
I thought it was as a restaurant, and I was wondering, who did you pay for the meal? You know.
The food is free, but that's just part of the solution. Reservations will be honored only if the homeless make an effort to improve their lives.
Tell me something about you.
Along with the entrees comes attention. One-on-one talks with the waiters, all full-time volunteer counselors.
It's just better, you know.
They know a free lunch alone isn't going to get people off the streets.
We see the food as an occasion to get together every day and have a conversation. And out of that, to allow a relationship to develop.
Diners must agree to stay for drug rehabilitation and other counseling.
You people accept me. Because maybe that don't mean whole society going to accept me when I go back out there. The game of life doesn't always deal a fair hand.
But here, fewer than 10% of those treated return to the streets.
How are you? I haven't seen
In 5 years, the cafe has nourished 900 new lives.
No matter what I'm going through now today, though, no matter what the problem is, you know, I got somebody I can come and talk to about it. I don't have to, you know, I have to try to figure it all out by myself.
Drew Anderson spent 20 years on the streets, addicted to heroin. Now he is back working construction and shares a house with others who came for supper.
It is so good.
Here, the volunteers dish up dignity and are paid with trust.
The annual cost of running the cafe and housing the homeless in their recovery program is just $150,000. They get mostly small donations, but the group is so efficient, they paid off the cafe's mortgage in 5 years.
We don't have any magical answers in terms of nuts and bolts to tighten or loosen, but I think to create the space that allows people to claim the power and rebuild their lives.
This flower of a small seed is now spreading beyond Atlanta. Similar cafes are open in Chicago and Columbia, South Carolina. Each one has the same special of the day: hope. For America Close Up, Bob Dotson, NBC News, Atlanta.
Bob Maynard would have liked that story. He was one of America's premier journalists, and he has died of cancer at the age of 56. Maynard, who was editor and publisher of the Oakland Tribune, the only black-owned major daily newspaper in this country. He was a high school dropout who rose through the ranks of journalism, ending up at the Washington Post to become that paper's White House correspondent before moving to the Tribune as editor. Maynard was also well known for his writings and lectures on the plight of the cities and the ethics of journalism. We'll be right back.
A puzzle. With so many stomach remedies around, how do you know which you can take for heartburn? And for diarrhea? And for upset stomach? You take Pepto-Bismol to relieve most any common stomach problem: heartburn, upset stomach, and diarrhea. So who needs anything else? That is a puzzle. Pepto-Bismol's the only one you need.
Now you can take home the freshness of the country with the freshening power of Arm & Hammer baking soda. A light burst of citrus with the freshening power of Arm & Hammer baking soda. a hint of the tropics, with the freshening power of Arm & Hammer baking soda. New natural fresh carpet deodorizers, the ones with genuine Arm & Hammer baking soda to absorb odors and keep your home smelling light and fresh, not heavy or perfumey. 3 ways to keep your home natural fresh. New from Arm & Hammer.
Oh, some son I have, ringing me in the wee hours from America. He saves money, I lose sleep.
Avoid international incidents. Introducing the most worldwide from Sprint. The only calling plan with just 2 12-hour calling periods, so it's convenient to call and save.
Oh, he hung up.
Get the most worldwide. You'll rest easy. And so will your relatives.
Now get $50 free long distance with the most worldwide. Only from Sprint. Athlete's foot grows just beneath the surface of your skin, so that's where you have to get to cure it. Mycotin penetrates the skin surface with miconazole and kills the annoying fungus right where it starts. Mycotin penetrates, Mycotin cures.
Give me one good reason to try new Serenity Bladder Control Guards. This new blue layer, only Serenity has it. Pulls the wetness in quicker. Odor protection. Drier, fresher? That just feels cleaner. New Dry Layer Plus from Serenity.
Now, baby Jessica, an exclusive talk with the parents who had to give her up. Their story, Tom Brokaw and Katie Couric, now premiering tonight on NBC.
Tonight, Katie Couric and I begin a new program here on NBC. Now, at 9 Eastern, 8 Central Time, a weekly news magazine that will deal with what's happening now and why. Tonight, one of our stories is about the federal raid on Randall Weaver, a white separatist and his family on a remote Idaho mountaintop. A U.S. Marshal was killed along with 2 members of Weaver's family. This is a case that raises troubling questions about extremist views and government tactics. Randy Weaver no longer has his freedom, but he holds on to his beliefs. Weaver believes in racial separation. He believes the Bible says so.
He did have views that you and I wouldn't have and you and I wouldn't believe.
Jerry Spence is Randy Weaver's lawyer.
But the other side of him is that as long as he's free to have those views, you and I can have ours. And when he loses his, we've lost ours.
You think he was dangerous in any way?
No, he was never dangerous, and everybody knew he wasn't dangerous.
No one could be a citizen of these United States of America unless he was of the white race.
But Weaver, a white separatist, did attend this notorious Idaho church in 1986.
They're everything that is evil.
Pastor Richard Butler preaches hate here against blacks, against what he insists is a Jewish conspiracy.
Hail victory!
When Weaver visited, Pastor Butler was playing host to hundreds of white supremacists, neo-Nazis, and Ku Klux Klan members at their annual summer meeting.
Our God, who was your first father.
A federal undercover informant met Weaver there, got to know him, and 3 years later persuaded Weaver to sell him 2 illegal sawed-off shotguns. After being indicted in 1991 for selling 2 illegal shotguns to federal undercover agents, Weaver failed to appear for his court date. He decided to hole up here at the mountain cabin that he'd built for his family. He just didn't think the federal authorities would come all this way to try to get him. What was your big concern at that point?
Losing my children to the state and being separated from them, having the family broke up.
A warrant was issued for Weaver's arrest, and for the next 18 months, federal marshals mounted an expensive, high-tech surveillance of Weaver and his family. What came after that surveillance was deadly and controversial. We'll show you that tonight, and Katie's very moving account as well of the final days that baby Jessica spent with her adoptive parents before being returned to her birth parents. That's tonight on Now at 9 Eastern, 8 Central Time. And
appropriate to